Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a cozy morning. Christmas is coming, and so I wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek into my house in the morning. It's still dark when I get up. The Christmas tree looks so pretty, so I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. We have our Christmas books on the floor with little twinkling lights and a truck that my little one-year-old likes to play with. So it's just a cozy time around our house, especially in the morning when it's nice and quiet and when the kids aren't up. I went ahead and just started prepping their homeschool stuff the night before, so when I got up this morning it was already done for me. So I just laid out the table. I'll show you guys kind of what our homeschool day looks like. I set out each kid's work in their spot and we go from there. So it was nice and organized when I woke up, and my kids will start school after they do their breakfast and get dressed, brush teeth, all that stuff. So we have what's called a morning basket, and in our morning basket I have this Aaron's Thinking Putty. If you guys haven't heard of this stuff, it is so amazing. We use it only for when we're reading. I have kids that like to fidget with their hands when they are trying to read, and it's really been a game changer for us with focus and getting through those hard words that they aren't understanding. So this stuff has been amazing. I will link it down in the description box for maybe a late stocking stuffer idea. We also really love these Advent blocks. This is how we're doing Advent this year. It has been so fun with our kids because they can grab the blocks. Each block tells a story, and there is 25 blocks to the set, and there's a world on one side and there's a star on the other, and the star represents Christ and it moves toward the world as the days go along. So these are the days that we've completed so far, and there's a number for the date of December 1st. There's a special code, a little message that's revealed at the end, and then there's a picture that goes along with it, which you will open up the book, The King is Coming. That's the title of the book. And in The King is Coming, there are stories from beginning to end, Bible stories, whether it's the story of Moses, Adam and Eve, story of Noah, and then obviously the end being Christ's birth. So the stories match the picture on the block, and the kids have really enjoyed this Advent study, so I highly recommend this if you guys are looking for an Advent study for next year. I believe they are sold out online, but keep your eye out. I'll leave the link in the description box for the website of where I got these. I went ahead and just started making my sourdough buns around mid-morning. We were going to eat them later that night, and so I basically just put 1 cup of sourdough starter in a bowl that was activated, 2 cups of water roughly, some honey, I don't even measure, and then 2 teaspoons of salt, and mixed it up really well and made sure everything was well incorporated. After I did the mixing, typically what you're supposed to do is add 2 eggs, but I forgot this step and I started adding flour. So just note, after you melt your butter, put in the eggs and mix those up before you add the flour. I realized it mid-flour pour that I needed to add the eggs in, but this recipe is from Farmhouse on Boone. I love this recipe from her. She does such a great job at making sourdough simple, so check that out if you are curious on the exact, I doubled her recipe. I'm kind of whisking the egg in the corner here, but I move it through the sourdough batter just to make sure it's well incorporated, because these are a pretty important step in the buns. But I made these so quickly. I would say it took me all of about 10 minutes, maybe at the very max. I did this while my kids were doing some independent work, finishing up their school. It was super, super simple and fast. I just incorporated it all together, mixed it up, and put a tea towel over it, let it rise for like 3 or 4 hours. Once the bun dough has risen for a few hours, I just take it out, kind of fold it over itself, and make sure it's nice and smooth, because this is basically the dough that you're going to be using to shape your buns with. The longer you can ferment this, the better. It breaks down that gluten and that phytic acid, so the more time that you give it, the better. But in this situation, I was just wanting to get it done fast, day of. You can actually do this the night before if you really want to, and throw it in your fridge after about 8 or 9 plus hours fermenting and doubling in size on the counter. And then in the next morning you could do this step, which is what I'm doing right now, of folding the dough over and making the buns themselves. And the dough is just a little bit more firm to work with, so I actually prefer to make these day of just because I like the softer, more pliable dough versus the more, I would say, stiff dough. And the rise time takes a lot longer when the dough has refrigerated. So I like this. I let it rise for a couple more hours on the countertop, and then we threw them in the oven. I actually skipped this step videoing it because we were having friends over for dinner and I forgot to record it. So you guys are seeing just the quick version of me putting the rolls or the buns out. They look like rolls. Me putting the buns on the parchment paper, covering them for their second rise. And then literally the final product, which is right here, which they were done. We sliced them and we were ready to eat our burgers. They were so delicious. You can actually get fancy too and add sesame seeds on top with a little egg wash, but I kept mine really simple this time. Just did the buns, and then we did elk and beef and mixed it together and had cheeseburgers with salad, and it was super delicious. So as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.